Hello everybody, I'm Steve and welcome to Green Side Up, and today we're getting on with some planting. I've got some plants that I sowed in a seed bed and the polytunnels have come out, and I've got some in plugs. We'll just crack on with it, eh? But the first up is broccoli rabe. Now many of you will be familiar with the broccoli rabe. It's generally a 60-day crop, but what I've got here is one I've never actually tried before, and this is a new variety that purports to grow to harvest within 45 days. So broccoli rabe is normally 60 days. This is 45 days, and as such it's a variety I've never tried before. So I thought, well, I'll give it a go. And its name, and wait for it, is Broccoletto Quarantino Riccio, and I haven't practiced that at all. But it'll grow into like a little crown of a plant and then send up shoots, and these will grow up a good sort of 12 inches, and you harvest most of the shoots. You've got the leaves and the shoots and the broccoli like clusters on the top. I mean, I suppose they look a bit like a broccoli. I'm not sure that they are really, but they taste nice. They're a little bit sourer than normal broccoli, but it's a nice, quick and easy crop to grow. And if this is right on the 45 days, I sowed it on the 6th of August. So they should be out and harvesting them on the 20th of September. We shall see. We'll be the judge of that. I'm putting them quite close together. Probably too close, but I say this variety is definitely one that's new to me. But I'll fill up this whole space up with them. If there's any left over, I'll plant them in the tunnel probably. The Italians call this rapini, I think, or rabe or rabe. I guess it must be regionally different. So this is a good quick catch crop. Now in this lot, this is my seed bed in the small polytunnel. I've got a load of broccolis down here and some cauliflower, Durham early cabbage, some chard. All the stuff, or a great deal of it, is going to be hoofed out, either potted into the ground, potted into modules or pots or whatever, but carried on so that I can use them. And you can see some of the things in here, like this pak choi. This has gone absolutely nuts in here. See if I can pull that out in one go. There we go. That's a pak choi. It's all edible, I think. I've never eaten one that size before, but that's where the pak choi came from that died in the big tunnel that needs replacing, and why the other day I sowed some more. Also, I sowed some more of this stuff down here. Now this is Mizuma. This is your normal green Mizuma. This is the red streaks. And this is a different type of Chinese cabbage all the way up here. The one I've planted out in the main tunnel is Wongbok. This is Mitchell Heary. And just down the side here, you can see I've got some Florence fennel. Not a great deal of it, but there's a bit of it. And some, you can just see the tiny leaves of the tatsoi in there. So I'm going to hoof some of this out and plant it outside. I know I've sown some in modules to plant out, but they'll grow on and they'll be planted out as hole fillers or somewhere in one of the tunnels somewhere. But I want to plant up a bed of this stuff outside, so I've got something to pick at, and it will harvest. I mean, I could be eating this now, to be honest, but we'll get some of it planted out. So I've just dug a clump of this Mizuma out of the small polytunnel, and you can see with these that they're very small plants with not much root at all, but we'll give them a go, see how they work. I'm just going to put half a dozen in. If they don't work, then when the ones in modules are ready, I shall just replace some of them, or just the ones that have died, whatever the crack is really. They can grow quite big, these, so I'll put a good space between them. So I'll just put half a dozen in, I think. And they'll sulk for a couple of days, as I like to say, a week to sulk, weeks to bulk, and hopefully they'll grow on. And I'll do the same with the rest of these and fill this bed up. So that's the Mizuma. Next one will be the Mizuma red streaks, and then the Tatsoi. So there we have it, half a dozen Mizuna green, the normal one, half a dozen of the Mizuna red streaks there where I'm watering, and then half a dozen of the Tatsoi. I'm going to drop some cauliflower into this little corner of the polytunnel. Now, it doesn't do too well, but it doesn't do too badly either, and I found it grows better in the tunnel than it does outside at this time of year. But you know, I am taking a bit of a risk. Quite often I won't get a head on them. I'll be looking and planting 6 here, and I'll be lucky if I get 3 heads out. That's how it normally goes for me. But you know, 3 heads of cauliflower better than none. So we'll just plant them and let the plants get on with it, with their job, so to speak. They can be quite fickle things, cauliflowers, but there we go. They're the container-wise trays. Brilliant things these are. I suppose planting at this time of the year is all about averages, really. Putting plants in, and as long as you get something out, may not be what you put in, but you'll get something out. There you go, cauliflower. Now, I've been gardening for 50 years, and I learnt at my granddad's knee, and he was a top gardener in Liverpool at the time. He was head gardener of the Liverpool Parks and Gardens. Very, very good gardener. Honest man, churchgoer, and I learnt, as I say, at his knee. So over the years, you build up a knowledge of what things work and what things don't, and you get a kind of a sixth sense, and you know that you need to be sowing seeds now for in 2 months' time for the plants that you want to be putting in. But I understand, and because I've seen many gardeners down here on this site suddenly thinking, oh, we need some broccoli, we'll better go and buy some plants. Now, there's no shame in that until until you've built up that knowledge about to sow your seeds earlier than when you need the plants, there's no shame in going to the garden centre and buying the plants to put them in. You're still gardening it, and you'll still learn from that experience. And maybe the next year you think, well, in August last year I had to go and buy plants, maybe in July I'll sow the seeds. And this is how you learn and build your knowledge. If you've got the seeds, throw them into some soil, throw them into a tray of compost or into module trays, and just get some plants going. Even if you plant them and they die, you've learned something from it. So never give up. And as I say, as the years go by, I say I'm now 50 years into this gardening, 50 years plus, and I'm still learning now. I still make mistakes all the time. I did it with the pak choi and Chinese cabbage. You know, you can't beat Mother Nature. You just can't do it. You can try as best you can, but you will have failures. So don't worry about it. Just try again the next year, or try again the next week. Just have a go. If you got any seeds, chuck them at the soil, see what happens, and learn from it. So we've planted a couple of things today, and we've got more things in that we sowed the other day that over the coming weeks hopefully I'll be able to plant out as well. And I've got other planting, as you've seen, in the small tunnel, which I'll be planting out over this next couple of days. So there's still plenty to do, and I'm still clearing and harvesting as we go. So it's still a very, very busy time of the year for me, and I make it that way. So I prefer it that. I would rather have 100 too many plants than not have the plants at all. And at the end of the day, a lot of these plants will be passed on to other people, so they won't be wasted. And if they are, they'll just go in a compost heap, so I'll reclaim it that way. But yeah, I mean, the seeds are so blooming cheap that even each row of those plants you saw in there, the row of plants probably cost me no more than 10 pence and 5 minutes of effort to sow the seeds. So you haven't lost anything, you know. But anyway, that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Please stay safe. Take care. Ta-ra now.